Now we are going to dive into the finances, right? So we are going to take it from your materials you used, how much they cost, and then moving from Morocco into the UK, and then how much it cost, where you slept, and the whole thing. Just give us a little overview of it. So let's start from your learning materials. Where did you get them from?
Yeah, at least from Morocco.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Looking at the fact that it's a French-speaking country, for that matter.
I'm not sure because people go to Germany, man.
I know. Just to see that the German language is quite even difficult than the English one.
It's completely.
I get it. So today you are going. Hey, people of the internet, welcome to today's podcast. So I met Ismail on Facebook, and then he was actually talking about his experiences writing the PLAB. Now, for those who don't know what PLAB is a kind of licentiate exams you write in the UK before you can start practicing over there. So he happened to complete my school, which was very, very interesting because a lot of people have been asking me this question day in and day out that, look, how do we transit from a French-speaking country like Morocco to an English-speaking country? And I think this is the best opportunity to talk to Ismail, who has been through it, to tell us all about it. And then again, I'm very excited about the fact that he went to my school because people thought my school wasn't part of those people who can actually make it out there. And so I am here to talk to him directly, but before he does that, please do well to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment as well as a like, because it will go a very long way to help the channel grow. And then Ismail will do a little bit of introduction, because the only thing I know so far is he went to my school, and then he's Ismail. Welcome, Ismail.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. This is nice. This is new to me.
This is the first time you are doing something like this.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Actually, that's been a big part of why I'm here, because it's new and exciting.
Exactly. It's very, very
we're
exciting.
all about that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, as you said, I'm a doctor, graduated from the Faculty of Medicine of Rabat, the public faculty. Yeah. And I've been taking the PLAB pathway, which is the pathway to become a doctor in Britain, to eventually specialize or work as a doctor there. And yeah, I'm here to share a little bit of how it goes, because I think it's not a popular way to go, at least from Morocco.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Looking at the fact that it's a French-speaking country, for that matter.
I'm not sure because people go to Germany, man.
I know. Just to see that the German language is quite even difficult than the English one.
It's completely.
I get it. So today you are going to share experience, all right, but we are going to niche it down in a way that we can all understand whatever story you are going to tell us today.
All right.
So I've decided to break it down in 3 aspects.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about the why and the how. And finally, what you are looking forward in gaining out of this whole process or this whole journey you've decided to, start. So basically, I would like to know, at what level did you realize that you need to, write PLAB?
I think it came in stages. There's the first stage, which is the level of realizing that I'm more comfortable with finishing my career elsewhere than Morocco. And then this next stage, which was picking which country.
Yeah.
I think the first around like fifth year med school, and then it just turned into this massive amount of research and asking people and trying to gather information, especially that it's not very easy if you don't know the right people.
Exactly.
And eventually, I made my peace, and I became very comfortable with the idea that I just want to commit to the road to Britain.
To Britain.
And I'm just fully on it.
So why UK? You could have chosen maybe Belgium, France, but you chose UK.
Yeah. Many reasons. Well, as I said, the first reason, which is I didn't want to finish my career in Morocco. Yeah. At least not immediately. But then I was confronted with many choices, which were like people were talking about the US, Canada as well. Things changed. China, I heard, France, Spain, Belgium, and it's a big quest to kind of have a conversation with yourself and see what you're comfortable with. I don't think there is a perfect option.
Exactly, there is.
But you have to explore each kind of way. And for Britain, I think I'm very comfortable with the culture there.
Wow.
For instance, more comfortable than in Germany. I don't know a lot about German people.
All right.
And I'm very much in touch with the culture there, like the little basic things, the everyday life, the songs, the music overall, the football.
I know, yeah. I love football very much. So and
it's a very
saying
fun
all this,
country to be in.
Have you been there before making this particular choice, or you just started everything from Morocco?
Interestingly, no, not before the PLAB.
Not before the PLAB.
I relied mainly on my research.
Okay.
Because I haven't been in Belgium either or in France either, but I know people who have been there. Germany as well. Yeah. And so it has been mostly trying to guess, because this kind of thing, it's a lot of betting. You cannot completely get it. Like, you cannot completely know what's ahead.
Okay.
Even when you know, things change. So you have to bet.
Yeah.
And I feel like I made the right bet, especially when I went there. Man, I had fun.
Yeah, definitely.
I had a lot of fun.
UK is all about fun. So tell me, are you trying to specialize and leave the UK or work? Because I understand perfectly that in the UK, there are two choices. It's either you write a PLAB and work, or you write a PLAB and specialize and then come back to your country and practice. What are you looking forward to?
Honestly, this is a little bit far ahead to be planning. But my initial idea is to specialize there and come back. Because I have to say, I feel like I will not find the kind of comforts that I have in here anywhere else. But I'm in a position where I can afford to be, to take some risks.
Okay.
So I'm doing that. But ultimately, I feel like Morocco is the place where I'm comfortable with, with the culture, with the people.
Everyone is definitely comfortable at where he or she comes
but who knows, really?
Yeah, you never know. Things can
Everybody is saying
like,
oh, you will see. You'll never come back. But I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
You never know.
Yeah.
So I really want to ask you this, and I think it's quite deep.
Okay.
Are you going to specialize in the UK? From everything you said, it's like you are taking a risk since you have the opportunity to take the risk.
Yeah.
But one may say maybe it's because of the working condition over there in the UK, or maybe you are well paid in the UK, or maybe you have a lot of things to work with, because as doctors, we would always feel comfortable if we actually find whatever we are looking for to work with. Let's say, for instance, you are in the hospital where you don't even have a CT scan. It's going to be difficult for you as a doctor most of the time. Then one may say, okay, then I think in Morocco, there is access to CT scan most of the time. Yeah. So if I have the opportunity to go there, then let me just do it. Is that the reason why? Are those the three reasons why you might want to, go to the UK to, specialize? One, is it because of the money, good working condition, or is it because you have access to whatever you'd want?
It's frankly a package. I can't pick one reason out of these, because all of these are very valid. Let's make a comparison.
All right.
Again, when I'm saying this, I'm not saying that being a doctor in Morocco is bad. It's a great country for medicine. A lot of people, they're very brilliant, and they do great in life, and they become great doctors. But we have to say, the elephant in the room, it is not easy.
Yeah.
Medical studies are very long. And there you're confronted with specialty studies, which are long as well, and tedious. Tedious, I mean, I think in Morocco, the points that will come back a lot is the financial aspect.
Yeah.
In Morocco, it's very complicated. And I think in most African countries, I would even say Asian countries, medicine is not it's not a way to be stable financially, at least in your 20s, 30s. Yeah. It takes a lot of time to build up. And that's a big aspect. Then there's the actual the reputation of the health system.
Yeah.
Again, we have to say that British have an older, more sophisticated health system. In Morocco, we're trying to build things again, and we're still trying. We're still struggling. There's the insurance stuff. There's the hospitals, the equipment, the human resources. How to manage everything. How to like make a nice environment for everybody.
Yeah.
For now, we're not there yet. In UK, I'm not saying it's perfect. It is not.
Yeah.
A lot of problems. It's kind of saturated. Not saturated, but there's competitivity. There's some toxicity as well. Just like anywhere else. It's not your country, so you can expect some resistance. You know, there are issues, but the training is very interesting. It's very reliable. The NHS is known worldwide. Like you can carry your NHS specialty diploma thing a little bit everywhere, and you'll be well recognized. And it's overall more faithful to medicine. Yeah, you know, it builds you as a doctor. Yeah, like even just passing the PLAB tests has been very interesting medically. Wow. Very exciting in that sense. Okay. And I'm just, as I said, it's a whole package. Yeah,
which you are going to tell me later on in the video, your experiences in writing the exams and everything. Now, moving on quickly, we are going to talk about the how.
All right.
So we are going to talk about the finances that are involved, because there's very important
sensitive points.
Yeah. And then we are going to talk about moving to the UK, because most of the time people know people over there before they move there. But then in your case, it's like this is the first time you moved to the UK. However, you actually did all this stuff. You're going to share it with us. But then one important thing I'm going to talk about is the PLAB exams in general before we talk about the finances. Yeah. Now, this is something different from how you studied here in Morocco. Yeah. Right. And then you just can't take the book and learn. You need ways of learning it, because we are talking about maybe English. Yeah. Maybe you have to, I think you took an English proficiency exam first.
Yeah, that's the very first step.
Very first subject you took. And then, which will now permit you to, study. I mean, whatever it is, as a doctor, you definitely have to speak the language of the people so that you can communicate well with the patient. So that's something that you really, really need. And you are going to tell me about how you went about your learning briefly.
All right. Yeah. Okay. I'll start with the language proficiency test, because it is the first step, and I believe it's the test where a lot of people get stuck and they decide, you know what, I'm not doing this, because it's fairly weirdly complicated for no reason. Sure, we're French. Second language is French in our country, but a lot of us can speak English, and yet it's not completely easy to pass that test. So it's all right. There are two tests possible, but only one of them can be carried in Morocco, which is the IELTS test. There are many places in which you can take the IELTS, and many dates available. I think it's every day, or like every day. 3-4 times a week. It's available. It's very that's not an issue. It's not the issue at all. So the test is composed of 4 parts, if I remember correctly. It's reading, hearing. Reading, listening, speaking, and writing. All right. As for the listening, reading, it's fairly okay. You know, it's good. The speaking, one will need to, get used to have a certain flow in the language to be able to carry out the conversation. Do you want me to go into details of that?
No, just briefly.
Okay, briefly. All right. Okay. So in the speaking, it's like a 5-10 minutes conversation in 2 parts. And the most important thing is to untwist your tongue, to get used to speaking in English without interrupting yourself very much. And I think that's doable then, as long as you have a certain vocabulary and everything. And then there's the writing, which is a little bit more complicated. Again, uselessly complicated, but the British, British do. The writing is in two parts. The first part is analysis of a graph or a map, or because it's IELTS is made for the scientific community. So there's the analysis part of it. You have to write a paragraph about it, and there are certain ways to do it that you will have to prepare for. You will need to prepare for your IELTS, either in schools or look for resources in the group that you. There are many resources there in which one can just dive into and get. But it's definitely not a test to underestimate. It's a test to carry seriously, even though you can speak English. You watched all the movies and everything. It's not really enough.
As easy as.
So the writing is part A is the analysis of a graph or a table, or and the part 2 is like a dissertation. There's a subject, either a question or something. There's usually like 2 opinions, and the thesis and the antithesis, and you have to argue, build arguments for the first one, then the second one, but they want it in a certain way. And again, you have to prepare for it, especially the writing. The reading and the listening, you mostly have to be focused.
All right.
To not miss something.
So how about the scoring, the marks? Do you need a certain mark to, to be able?
For the IELTS, you will need at least 7 out of 9 in the 4 for domains.
For the 4 parts.
For the 4 parts, and an average of at least 7.5
for all the parts.
Yes,
combined together.
Yeah, other like fields of work, they pass the IELTS as well. They say for the IELTS as well, but it's very high for medicine, especially for medicine. Other people, they don't have to get as high of marks because in medicine you have to communicate with the people.
That's what I guess.
Even though they don't really speak the same English. My God.
Okay, let's move on quickly. Let's talk about the PLAB now.
All right.
All I know is we have PLAB 1, PLAB 2. Do we have PLAB 3?
No. Yeah.
So we don't have PLAB 3.
No.
We don't have PLAB 3.
No.
So that's in the US where you have step 1, step 2, and I think step 3.
Yeah, I believe.
Good. Yeah. So you wrote PLAB A. Is it PLAB A or no? Sorry, it's PLAB what?
PLAB 1. Yes,
PLAB
exactly.
1. Okay, sorry.
So the USA, they have the USMLE.
Yeah.
And the UK, they have the PLAB 1 and PLAB 2.
And PLAB 2.
But it will become the UK MLE.
Yeah, that's ahead.
It's for now, it's the same thing. Let's just assume it's the same thing.
Okay, maybe there might be some content change or whatever.
I don't think it will be too much content changes. I think it's mostly like administrative stuff. After the Brexit and everything, I think there are changes there.
Okay, now let's talk about the PLAB 1.
All right.
So how was it?
Oh, it was nice. It was a lot of preparation.
So what domain do you learn? Like, do you learn pathologies? Do you learn biology? What do you learn at all?
Right. I'll give you a little bit of an overview about the PLAB 1. Okay. So the PLAB 1 is a theory exam. So it's not practical, it's theoretical. It's 180 questions, 180 questions. There are multiple, like one choice question. You get 5 choices and you have to pick one. And they cover a lot of specialties. I would say like I've divided my work into 30 different specialties, I believe, or something
30?
like that. Yeah, pretty much. It's like it's a wide view of medicine. Things that a GP would need, a general practitioner would need. There's some anatomy, some physiology, a lot of pharmacology, very very new stuff like pharmacology. We don't dive in too much. It was very interesting to see a lot of pathology, surgical pathology, medical pathology. And it gets fairly complicated at times and then fairly superficial at others. So it's not really the same as our exams, our specialty exams in Morocco.
All right.
But it's a different learning. It's a different learning system as well. So how it goes, generally the most popular way to do this is go through the question banks.
Yeah.
So there are question banks available that know these PLAB exams that they can kind of simulate the questions that are in these PLAB exams.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they have like resources to learn your lessons.
And then after that, you come and solve the questions.
Yeah, what?
Yeah. After that, you solve the questions. After you learn.
You kind of swing back and forth from there. So you can test yourself. You have a mock, which is the mock. It's like a simulation of the whole PLAB 1 exam. Its duration is 3 hours. So 3 hours, 180 questions, and you kind of test yourself to see in the beginning where you at, and then you start working. Yeah. So how you work, each person kind of.
So you did all the learning here in Morocco before moving to the UK?
Yeah, completely, yeah.
Because someone may think it's better to be at where you're going to write the exam to get comfortable with wherever you're going to write the exams before.
No, it's there's I don't see any use in going there before.
All right, so the exams.
That's actually a nice thing about Britain. Like for instance, in Germany, you have to go there to be proficient in the language, and then you have to carry on there. But in Britain, you can just take your career there here, like start everything, work, and at the same time prepare for the test. When there's a test, you go there,
and then
you sit for it, and then you come back.
Now we are going to dive into the finances, right? So we are going to take it from your materials you used, how much they cost, and then moving from Morocco into the UK, and then how much it cost, where you slept, and the whole thing. Just give us a little overview of it. So let's start from your learning materials. Where did you get them from?
Okay. For the financial aspect, something about this kind of procedures, it will need some planning ahead. Yeah. The better you plan ahead, the more efficient financially you will be. So as I said, the PLAB 1 and PLAB 2 exams, the PLAB 1 is the theory exam, the PLAB 2 is the practical exam. Okay. The PLAB 1, it costs around, I believe, £300, which is
3,000 dirhams.
4,000. Yeah, the pound is a little bit, 4,000-ish dirhams.
Just for the registration of the exams, I guess.
Exactly, yeah. Just for the registration. Then you have to prepare for it. And there you have these question banks. There's Plabable, MedRevision, PLAB keys and everything. And you can subscribe to whichever you want. And it's not completely expensive. I think it's around, I don't know, 30-40 pounds per 4 months, something like that. They have like packages for 4-6 months. All right. But it's fairly okay. It's fairly okay. Okay. And then you have to go there to sit for the exam. There's the financial aspects and there's the visa aspects. The visa aspect is completely okay. All right. Normally, generally, as long as you have the invitation for to sit for the test, you're okay. You just have to prove that you are financially able to do it. So you have to. Well, the trick is, in general, they always give visa for 6 months. All right. And you sit for the test like for 2 days, but they give you 6 months always. So you always kind of choose a short period around the test time, but then you can say however much you want. And for that short period, you kind of have to justify the costs. You just Google it, and you see how much would a day cost me in UK, and you estimate 3 days. Okay, so these 3 days, I will carry with me this amount of money, and you show it in your bank account or your whoever is sponsoring you, and the visa is completely okay. Then you go there, and it's your choice. If you want to stay for longer, it can get expensive. Yeah, of course. But if you just want to sit for the text, if you want to be very efficient, it can be very okay. Just book a flight back and forth. I don't know. In my experience, I stayed there for like 15 days. 15 days. Yeah.
So is it good to go before the date of the exams? Like, let's say you spend some 5 days in the UK before you sit for the exam, so you can just go and then quickly, maybe 1 day after you write the exams.
I very much recommend it at least like 3 days.
3 days.
At least.
At least.
To be mentally prepared.
And even know where you are going to sit for the exams, I guess.
That's, easily
identifiable.
Yeah, easily you can find it. But the mental aspects, you don't want to just go there and have the test the next day and be rushing into things, because things can happen. You can miss your, I don't know, your train or something. Problems can happen. It's better to go there, settle yourself, be at peace, be mentally ready, focused, sharp, ready to go, and then go for it.
So averagely, how much do you estimate someone trying to just, spend 14 days in the UK, prepare for the exams that cost £300, and then buy the materials, let's say, not roughly £200. So how much in general do you think one can spend for that?
Well, if you want to stay for a while, a little bit of a while in Britain, in total, I would expect like 1,500 pounds. Right. Around that area, because again, it's
really expensive.
But it's spread across like the whole 4 or 5 months of preparation.
Yeah.
So it's fairly okay, manageable. And if you want to sit just for the test and not stay in Britain, it can be a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
it can be a lot cheaper.
You just have that option for the papers and then you come back. So how was the experience on the exams day?
Okay, for the exams day. Okay, we sat for the exam in the Cutler's Hall. There were almost no Moroccans. there were I think there was somebody from Ghana. I think I met somebody from Ghana.
Wow.
Nigeria as well, Ethiopia as well. But Moroccans, Arabs in general, maybe Egyptians a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody was in front of the door. It was the Cutler's Hall in Sheffield.
Okay.
There are many places you can pass the PLAB test in. Like not specifically in Britain. You can like say for it in Egypt or Spain, other countries. Yeah. And as I said, we were in front of the door, and when it hits, I believe 9 a.m., they opened the door. They gave us the information. They get us in like little groups. Showed us like which room to go to, identification, everything. You go sit in your place. Yeah. While they set up everything, they're very organized. They're very neat. The conditions, I feel like they were great. Very calm, very quiet. You have everything. You have the time. Time management is very important. So it's important to have like the clock in front of you. There's a mic, and they tell you, okay, this step or this step. Now you can start reading, or now you did this or you do that. The basic rules of everything. Do not cheat. Do not cheat. And then the exam started. Everybody is very focused. Nobody turns left or right.
Trying to
again, it's kind of a race against time. You have to be focused. But
is there some kind of break?
Yeah,
when you're writing exams.
No, it's 3 hours continuously.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes, 3 hours continuously. 180 cases. The questions are medical cases.
All right.
So they're like, all right, Mr. Gabriel came to your to GP consultation, and he is 25. He has this or that in his history. He complains of this or that. What is your management? Or he took these medicine. Now he's feeling this. Which medicine is causing this? Or which interaction is causing this? It can dive as deep as you want.
Was there a question on that you couldn't solve?
Well, yeah, because on 100 out of 180 questions, I have been able to solve 159.
Oh,
so 20,
which you 21. Were very confident of. That's okay.
Yeah, that's not a bad. That wasn't bad. But then again, it came with a lot of preparation.
I know, right?
But generally, the PLAB exam is doable when you prepare for it. Well. It's doable. It's not completely crazy.
What I feel like turns people off is the financial aspects. But then I think the way you break it down for us, I think that's something
fine.
Cool and then doable.
I think it's fine. It's not the worst. As a self-investment thing, it's not the worst. But then again, there is another financial aspect that people might turn people off, which is the salary as a doctor there.
Yeah, I'll get into that. I don't want you to, talk about that before. So quickly, we are now going to talk about the what. All right.
Okay.
The what. But before that,
right.
Your way of learning, was it you wake up in the morning, you learn? Because I believe by then you were still practicing as a doctor. Yeah. So how did you go about it?
I frankly tried to, okay, this, all right.
Yeah.
To get into things, as I said, when you prepare for this pathway, you have to kind of plan ahead.
Yeah.
And what I mean by planning ahead, which is plan your tests, when to pass them, how to pass them financially and everything. And also you prepare yourself for becoming how to get a job there. Yeah. And everything. You kind of have to look on the far end of things. So while you're preparing for your exams, the best way is the best thing to do is prepare your portfolio, your CV, curriculum vitae. You have to prepare for it, and it depends on what you want from your career. You have to check different boxes. But generally, it involves medical experience. It involves leadership experience. Wow. Also teaching experiences. And something else. Can't remember it. It will come back to me. Okay. So as I was preparing for the test, I worked as a teacher in a nurse school, which kind of gave me good flexibility on my lessons. So I tried to time them in a way that I could get my study done in the morning, and then at night until like 10-11-ish p.m. And I've never felt completely like late. I think it was smooth. Yeah, I think it was smooth enough. 4 or 5 months is a good, good duration. You slowly get into it, then you kind of
feel like
it gets more and more intense. Yeah. But I would average around at the beginning around 4 hours. Then it becomes like 6-8 hours a day to kind of complete the whole thing.
I see. So now we are going to talk about the what. I think we are done with the how. You've spoken a lot about the finances, how you learn and what's needed and everything. Now, the what is once again very important to me. But quickly, let's start with the PLAB one that you wrote. Does it have an expiring date? Because I know you wrote it in order to write PLAB 2. That's the main reason, right? Yep. And at the end of the day, end up becoming a doctor, even specialize and come back to your country. Yeah. Does it have an expiring date, the PLAB one?
I believe, I can't remember very well, but I think it's around 2 to 3 years. I think 3 years.
Okay.
But after 3 years, you have to repass the PLAB 1, but I'm not very sure.
But then there is an expiring date to that. That's what I just want to confirm.
Yeah, it can't just have the PLAB 1 forever.
Yeah. So then there is the PLAB 2, right? Now the PLAB 2, what is it about? Because the PLAB 1 is theory. Now PLAB 2 is what?
All right, so PLAB 2. PLAB 2 consists of, it is a practical exam. So you have to actually like touch the patient, to examine and everything. So how it goes is there's a building, everything, and you have 18 rooms, 18 stations, we call them. And each station you are faced with a different situation. So how it goes, I just go into the first station, you have 8 minutes, you deal with that situation, and then the next station, and you move on till you go through the 18 stations. And there are 2 rest stations where you just chill, calm down, breathe a little bit. If you messed up or something, or if you just want to prepare mentally, everything counts. And you just go through the rest. And in each station, you are faced, as I said, with different situations. It could be a situation of history taken. So it's just a conversation between you and the patients. But everything is in the detail, like the way you lean in, the way in your face you show that you're compassionate, and the way you break bad news, for instance, or the way you announce somebody, how you take their history, things that are relevant, things that are not, the differentials and the diagnosis. You can't just focus on one diagnosis. You have to lay down different possibilities, the confidence in which you talk, everything. That's the history. Then there's also the history plus physical examination. So in these 8 minutes, you have to take history, then allocate a couple of minutes or less for the examination. In the examination, after COVID, they become the examination is done on mannequins. On like little prototypes, not the whole mannequin, just whatever you need. Like for example, a rectal examination or a testicular examination, abdominal, breast examination, whatever. But they might bring back the patients. Like they might bring back the idea of examining on an actual patient, an actual human. And whatever you examine, like you can palpate if there's a mass, if there's something, like everything is done, is focused on a certain pathology.
Is it actually based on specialities or anything can go in over there?
It could be, like you could think of it that way, but many people don't. You could think of it that way in your preparing of it. But in the stations, you could be faced with many things. It could be a symptom touching different specialties. You know, it's not like, okay, you have one cardiology, one like respiratory medicine.
It's not
like that. The station this is history taking. You go to take the history of the patient. They can have a history about something in endocrinology and something like
cardiology, here and there.
Different, and you have to deal with these different elements. There are other types of stations, for instance, the psychiatry cases, like for example, somebody with dementia. How to deal with them, Parkinson's disease, how to assess them and everything. There are ethical stations, for example, situations with consent, sexual abuse, how to deal with it, something in the workplace. For example, there's a problem in the workplace. Somebody is not working while you're doing all the work, how you're going to deal with it and everything. They assess, the whole day-to-day things. How you're going to deal with them as a doctor, how you present yourself, your composure, your confidence, a little bit of everything. And there are also stations in which you have to, emergency stations, where there's the whole mannequin, you have to stabilize them first, just go through your ABCDs, and then deal with whatever problem they have. And there are also telephone stations. You have to pick up the phone and there's a patient on the other end. Okay, I have this and that, how to deal with this, and video consultations. I think I covered the most types of stations. Also counseling. Counseling is important. For instance,
education. How about education?
Teaching as well. Teaching as well. There's stations where you have to teach a student, for example, the ECG. Okay, how to do this, and just you show your abilities to that. The counseling is when you explain the procedure. All right, you're going through a surgery. You have to go to the patient. You have to get their consent. So you have to explain the surgery step by step, everything, how to do this, how to do that. It's very varied, but it overall is not medically challenging, but it's about how you behave in different medical situations. Most than not, more than not.
Okay, so moving on quickly, did you ever think of how the system is before getting yourself into this?
All right, I'll have to come back to something because you brought up the financial aspects. The PLAB 2 costs 800 or 900 pounds, I believe,
just for the registration for
the exam, and then you have to prepare for it in an academy. Well, most people do, some people don't. But these academies are usually very experienced in dealing with these exams. They prepare you for it, and you have to go to the academy to spend a while with the mannequins there and everything.
I see.
So financially, it starts building up.
So this is a kind of situation where you cannot just write PLAB 1 and give up, because since you started, I think you have to. So that means you have to really plan for even PLAB 2 whilst writing for PLAB 1.
You have to plan for everything. Even your visa, for instance. For instance, the academy they might not give you the visa just for the academy, just to go prepare for the academy. So for my case, for instance, I tried to plan the academy in my 6 months, like, to not have to ask for a visa again and struggle with justifying it.
I see.
Little details.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really important. So now moving on quickly, I was asking about the system.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how the system in the UK when specializing looks like before getting yourself into it?
It's a complicated system, to say the least. It's a complicated system, and it's hard to get your head wrapped around it unless you actually experience it. But there are different aspects of it. What do you want to know? Is it how do you specialize, or what do you work as?
Because honestly, we've not how to work basically. Because in your situation, you want to specialize and come back.
All right.
So maybe that's what you've researched, not how to work or how things are when you are working. I was actually asking in the domain of specializing. Specializing, okay. But then, we've heard stories about the fact that maybe if you want to specialize in surgery, you don't have the chance to, work on patients sometimes, because looking at the fact that you are not someone from that country, it becomes very difficult, right? So I'm really interested in the fact that, did you look all these things up? Did you ask the people who are doing the specialization and ask them, look, this system, is it really worth it? Is it something that I will learn from when I get myself into it or something? And then what were the feedbacks that you had?
Okay. It depends. It depends on which hospital. It depends on which specialty. And overall, you have to do your research. For each career differs.
I see.
And you have to ask the people that are working there and in that specific hospital, how is it going there? Because normally, the system is great to become a doctor. It's you become a great clinician. They're not very abusive of tests. You become a great clinician. You deal with a lot of different situations and everything. It's long training programs. A specialty can go from 3 to 8, 9 years of specialty training. So that turns off a lot of people, but it's usually very thorough and very recognized everywhere. You can take your diploma a little bit everywhere, like in the Middle East, Gulf countries, or just Canada or something. Australia as well. It's a very solid system, but it's still a case-to-case situation. You still have to ask exactly what you want. Like,
you have to be precise.
Like, okay, let's say, for instance, I want to do cardiology. Okay, how to do cardiology? You have to Google cardiology pathway specialty UK. And then you find yourself with this kind of a step-by-step program. And they're like, all right, the first step is you spend 2 years doing this. Then it's called the CT. The CT, like the core training. It's like the basis of cardiology, a lot of medical and everything. Then you have to go to the specialized training. And you like 4 years into that. And then you have to research about that course station, how to apply for it. What do I need in my portfolio, in my CV? Because it gets competitive. And then when you do get like job offers, if you manage everything well, okay, which hospital should I go to? You have to make your research again, ask around. So it's a lot of...
So this is something very huge, not just like, we see it from afar. And you touched on something very important about the fact that, about the specialization, you have to be precise. You have to know the kind of hospital you are going to. So this thing, is it right to think about it before you write the PLAB? Or you should just write the PLAB, and then after that, that will be the next thing.
There are two kinds of people. Some people are adventurous, and they're like, all right, let's see where it goes.
All right.
And some people, they like to be precise in these kind of things. So you have both the options. But I believe that in this case, it's better to have at least some kind of end view of things, to have a little bit of clarity in where are you going, what are you doing, to prepare a little bit ahead for it. So you don't want to just find yourself in the job markets and not ready for it.
But Ismail, things can change, right? Let's say, for instance, you plan to maybe do neurology, And then upon reaching there or after the exams, you realize that no, the neurology system is going to be messy. So I think I should choose cardiology.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's very doable.
So that
There's
means
nothing against that.
You shouldn't think mainly on the special.
Yeah, it should remain flexible.
Yeah, all right.
One never knows.
Okay.
Things change, but when I say that planning ahead, it's not just specialty related. Precise, it's just overall how the system works and everything. There is a lot of research involved.
Okay.
How to prepare yourself for it.
Okay. Now, are there any expectations you are having?
Expectations? Well, I expect to become a good doctor there. I expect to be in good hands, and medicine is very important to me, and I'd like to see where it takes me.
Yeah.
I like the research, the focus on research there as well. I like to do some of that as well. Also, financially wise, I expect to be okay.
Yeah.
I don't expect to be completely rich.
Yeah, okay.
I expect to do okay. Have my things.
Yeah.
And I expect an adventure, in every sense of the word.
Okay. Is there anything you could have done differently?
Differently. It's hard to say, because once you do something, you just commit to it and you just go forward.
Even if it started bad, you would just have to go forward with it. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, it's hard to think back about things that. Well, okay, let's go step by step. The IELTS. I said that it deserves a thorough preparation, and anybody who doesn't prepare it well will regret that. It's a test.
So basically, you need the IELTS to write the PLAB.
IELTS, yeah. Second step is the PLAB. I recommend, again, planning your visa well, gaining as much time as possible. They will give you 6 months anyway. Having the visa planned just at this start, in the beginning. The beginning of the visa should be matched with the test day, so that you have your 6 months and you can go to the academy again. To prepare for the PLAB too.
Yeah.
And for the PLAB too, I'm actually preparing for it.
And then, is the academy in the UK or?
Yes, usually in the UK. There's also in Egypt. But since you're spending anyway, since you're going through it anyway, might as well go to the UK and do things right with the people that are very experienced and everything. You don't want to risk it. Why would I go to Egypt for an academy?
Exactly. So did you research how much you'll be in? Because definitely you've not told me what you could have done differently. Do you have any regrets?
Regrets?
Yeah.
I would not say regrets, but I would say I struggled a little bit with the whole process from Morocco. For instance, in the beginning, while I tried to set my GMC account, which is one of the first steps to start doing the steps, I had struggled with the date of my doctorate. They had a meeting and it was on a deadline. The dean was on a meeting and it didn't give me so I missed a PLAB 1 date, and I had to wait an extra 4 or 5 months. But these things they happen, they happen. It's not, and you have to, you know how it is in here. You have to struggle a little bit for your papers. I'm still struggling for it, the whole where my internship, where I worked and everything, how to justify everything, the translations. It's tedious. It's naturally tedious.
So finally, did you look it up how much you'll be earning whilst working over there? Did you look it up?
It's a big point. People focus a lot on how much they will be earning.
Yeah.
Actually, this is one point where people favor Germany over Britain overall, because Germany, they generally have better pay as a resident. In UK, it depends on where you are. Okay, you could be, for instance, a FY doctor, which means a foundation year doctor, which is the equivalent in Morocco, les années d'internat. Première ou bien deuxième année, which is FY1 or FY2. you can expect to be paid around £2,600, £700 per month, and they're currently negotiating a pay rise. I'm hoping to just arrive just in time. I don't want to fight for it. And as you go through the ranks, it depends also on your background, on how did you negotiate your salary and everything, where are you working.
So basically it's individual. It's not in a group kind of thing where they pay you guys in a group.
No, it's not. It depends also on the specialty. Where are you emergency, on whether you do locums, which is legal. Yeah. If you locum, of course you're paid. You're paid, especially if you're in emergency, like A&E departments. It's not like endocrinology where you won't find as much locums
to do. Yeah.
It depends on these things, and disables you to earn more if you work more, and that's nice. That's nice to know. But overall, I would say that people don't get rich. They live well. They live well. Yeah. Also, the people I ask there is kind of the same statements. They're living all right. Yeah. They don't need anybody. They're fully independent.
People definitely say that, look, you make a lot of money in the UK, you spend it all in the UK because things over there are expensive.
Yeah. Okay, the expensive things. First thing is the accommodation, is the residency where you live. It can get pretty expensive, especially if you're in a big city. And I'm looking at you, London. London is expensive.
Yeah, very, very expensive.
Yeah, you don't even feel how money goes away. It just goes.
It just flies.
Yeah, everything. You use your credit card for everything, so you don't even feel it. Even on the bus, on those double deckers, you just go, and then you find yourself completely dry.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of just nice clubs or whatever you're into or something. It could go over. Yeah. But a big city is probably more fun.
Yeah.
But you have to, as I said, it's hard to calculate everything. All I can tell you is you will live comfortably. You will not live rich. You'll have to still be aware of your spendings and everything, and the more you're conscious about it, the better you will do it. But you'll live okay. And then as you go through the grades, like say for instance you got through a training program for emergency medicine. So in your CT1 core training 1, you'll be paid a little bit more, then a little bit more, then a little bit more. There's a type of people that struggle financially. It's the people that go with families. They have, they might have their wives,
their children,
and children. Yeah, that becomes complicated. It's hard to make ends meet when you have children, and then the schooling system, the nurseries, things are expensive. Things get expensive. But when you're
Ismail, thank you very much for coming. So before you finally make way, I would like you to give, there are a lot of people out there who want to go to, the UK, go to different countries, especially from Morocco or from, Africa. Any advice to them before we finally make way on this podcast?
I'll say it's all kind of a bet, as I told you before. I don't think there's any road that is perfect. In Morocco is a bet. In Britain, it's a bet. Germany, it's a bet as well. So the first step is just to know where you're comfortable with, where your heart leans to. You have to have that self-conversation. And when you have it, when you know it, you just commit. I see a lot of people who kind of try to do everything at once. They're like USMLE and UKMLE, and also applying for Belgium and preparing for l'internat. It becomes messy, at least for me. Maybe some people, they're able to do it, but I frankly don't think it's a good idea. You just have to know what you want. And then when you know it, you'll be very focused and you will do your research right. You'll be organized. You will know the right people, and you'll just carry the way wherever it takes you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And then I know a lot of people will be having questions later on. which they'll put in the comment section, which I might not have the answers to, but I think it's okay if you can leave us your handle, Instagram, wherever, so that these people can contact you and then, get their questions to you directly.
Sure. So do you want to write it?
I'll write it on screen, but then just mention it for those listening.
All right, perfect.
Yeah. So what is it? Instagram handle?
It's Ismail,